Good morning, friends. Welcome to Ultra Vision Academy, 12th Science, English Medium, subject Computer, chapter number 6. So, in the first lecture, we saw about object, class, and class diagram. Object word is taken from the real world, whereas class is a template for creating similar types of objects. Remember class diagram. When we are going to create a big software, then we need to create several classes. So a class diagram contains various classes, constraints, and relationship between classes. Constraints means programming, coding. So now let's see ahead. Class diagram representation. In class diagram, a class is represented using an icon using a rectangle split into 3 sections to present name, attribute, and behavior. This is regarding class. Remember, so individual class. In individual class, we have to give these 3 information: class name, attributes, and behavior. For attribute, you can also use word property, and for behavior, you can also use word method. And both this attribute and behavior, in general, it is known as features or members. So here 3 things we have to define: name of the class in the top section, then attributes or properties of the class in the middle section, and at last behavior or operations or methods, or you can also say functions of the class in the bottom section. So here you can see the representation. Class name. So first we have to give the word class, and then we have to give the name of that class. Then in the middle section we can define attributes, and at last we can define methods. Here the representation is given visibility attribute colon data type is equal to initial value. So this way we can this is the syntax of attribute, remember. So this way we can define any attribute. Similarly method also. So let's see one by one. So suppose there is a class person. Now in the middle part we have given 5 different attributes. Name colon string. Here name is the name of attribute, remember, whereas string is the data type. Same way string colon city colon string. String means it can store number of few characters. So that is why the word string is given here. If there is a need to store a single character, then you can use word char. Char means character. So gender colon char is equal to, inside single inverted comma, m. So remember here name, city, gender, these are the names of attributes. After attribute we have to give colon sign, and then we can give data type. Data type, it means what type of data we are going to store in that attribute. For example, name colon string is given. It means it can store a string written in between double inverted comma. Same way for city also. Gender colon character is equal to single quote m. It means it can store a single character only, because the data type is given char. Then dash birth date colon date. It means here the name of the attribute is birth date colon, and then the data type is date. It means we can store date here, and you can see in front of birth date minus sign is given. This is known as visibility. So we will see ahead what is visibility here. Same way profession colon string. At last few functions are created. For example, set birth date. Now remember, in function there are two things. Inside round bracket you can specify few variables including the data type. So here d colon int is written. Remember, these are known as parameters, d, m and y, and int means integer. It means d, m and y, all these store integer value. To separate all these parameters we have given comma. Same way another method is also there. For example, change city. Then new city is the name of parameter, or you can say variable. Colon string, it means it will store a string. Colon string, the at last also string is written. It means change city function returns string. Same way, set birth date function returns date value. So remember, in a function there are two things, parameters and return value. So whatever information we write inside round bracket, that is known as parameter, and then we can specify return value. It means when this function is executed, what it returns at last. Set birth date function returns date. Same way, change city function returns string. And the third function display is given here. There are no parameters here, so nothing is given inside round bracket, and this function also doesn't return any value, so no colon sign and data type is given here. So this way we can declare few attributes and methods that is related to person class. So when we create object related to person class, suppose person 1, person 2, person 3, all these objects can be used, and these objects can access all these methods and attributes also. Now let's see the syntax of attribute. See, this is the syntax of any attribute. At first it is given visibility. Here two types of brackets are given, square bracket and triangular bracket. Remember, whatever information written in between square bracket, that is optional. It means it's not compulsory. Whereas information written in between angular bracket, that is compulsory. So the statement is written visibility, that is inside square bracket and angle bracket also. It means this is not compulsory to give, but if you don't give any, then automatically any one visibility will be taken by default. So what is visibility, that also we will discuss. Then attribute name. Here remember, attribute name is compulsory. Now inside square bracket colon sign is given. It means this is not necessary. But if you give colon sign, then data type is necessary. So either you don't give colon sign, then there is no need to give data type. Otherwise, if you give colon sign, then you must specify attribute data type also. Same way, inside square bracket is equal to initial value is written. Just before few seconds we have seen is equal to char is equal to single quote m. So this is the same representation here. Square bracket, it means no need to give equal to initial value, but if you are giving equal to sign, then initial value is necessary. Let's see a few examples of this. Name colon string. Here you can see only attribute name and data type is given. No visibility is specified here. Same way, default value is also not given, initial value is also not given. So if you are not giving any visibility, then automatically it will take any one visibility. Total 4 visibilities are there that we have to discuss. After that, dash balance colon float is equal to 0.0. So this is the entire representation. You can see here minus sign is given. It means visibility is there. This is a type of visibility. Remember, minus means private visibility. So balance attribute is private member. It means it is kept hidden from outside world. Float is the name of data type. It means it can store real number. Is equal to 0.0. It means its initial value is 0.0. Same way, gender colon char is equal to single quote m. So remember here, items written in pair of square brackets are optional. Same way, items written in pair of angle brackets are compulsory. Now let's see the visibility options. As you can see here in the syntax, at first we have to give visibility. And actually no need to specify it, but any one visibility is compulsory. So if we don't take it, then automatically it will take the default value. There are 4 visibility options: private, protected, public, and package. Remember, among these 4 visibilities, the package visibility is default. It means if we don't specify any visibility, then automatically it will take package visibility. And that is why it is written in between square and triangular bracket, both. So here minus balance colon float is equal to 0.0. It means this is private member. So it cannot be accessed directly by outside members. So similarly, syntax of behavior or method: visibility, then inside angle bracket method name, inside round bracket parameter list separated by comma, colon, return type. So this is the structure of behavior. For example, set birth date d colon int comma m colon int comma y colon int colon date. So here d, m and y, these are the parameters. Integer int is the data type for all these parameters, and at last colon date is given. It means this set birth date function returns date. Now object oriented programming features. As we have discussed earlier, there are 4 features. These 4 features must be there in an object oriented programming language. These are encapsulation, data abstraction, polymorphism, and the last is inheritance. So let's see all these features one by one. The first one, encapsulation. For any computer program, 2 core elements are data and functions. This we have already discussed in the first lecture, that in any computer programming language there are 2 things: data and functions. Functions, you can also say coding program. So coding is necessary. Same way, when there is a need to store some information in a database, then we need a particular software, for example Access or Oracle, where we can store data. So data is also important here. But remember, in structural or procedural programming languages, both these are separate entities, data and functions. But in object oriented programming language, both these are wrapped in a single entity called object. So remember, structural or programming or procedural programming views these two core elements as two separate entities, whereas object-oriented programming views them as single entity, that is known as object. This mechanism of wrapping data and method into a single unit is known as encapsulation. So this technique of wrapping this both for data and function into an object, that is known as encapsulation. Encapsulation allows to establish protection where private members of the class are not available directly to outside world. So when we specify private visibility, then a particular attribute in an object becomes private member. It means it is not available outside world, for the outside world. It means from any other class or from any other object we cannot access the private member of a particular object. If necessary, the data can be made available via public methods. So here public means open for all. See, in all these four visibility options, the private member contains the highest security. Then protected member. After that, package member. And public member, public means that is open for all. All these visibility options we have to study further in Java language also. So just now remember these four visibility options: private, protected, public and package. 4 P's. Thus encapsulation provides data hiding capability. It means it remains hidden inside object, inside encapsulation from the outside world using private technique. It keeps data safe from unintended actions. Next is data abstraction. Data abstraction is the process of representing the essential features of the objects without including implementation detail. It means we cannot see how it is done, but the work is done. Abstraction is a concept that hides the complexity. Say, for example, we can turn television set on and off, change the channels using remote control, but we don't know its internal details, like how it receives the signal. So there is a separation of internal implementation of TV set from its external interface. So that is known as data abstraction. So data abstraction is a technique that relies on the separation of interface and implementation. Actually, this technique we are using in our daily work also. It is usual in our daily work also. For example, we use sqrt function in several languages. Even in Excel also we are using sqrt like function that is used to find out square root of any number. So actually we are using, but how it is done internally, how it will find out square root of a particular number, that is hidden. That is hidden technique. So we have seen two things: encapsulation and data abstraction. Now two features remaining, that is polymorphism and inheritance. But before that, let's see what is messaging, a small topic. In object-oriented terminology, a call to a method is referred to as a message. Actually, in such languages, we can create a function, or you can say method. For example, here ABC is the name of method, and inside curly bracket the method code is written. Not every language uses curly bracket, but that is different in different languages. So after that, few statements are there, and now if you want to execute this ABC function, then just you can call this function using the function name, for example ABC. So here this is known as messaging. In other computer programming languages, this is known as function call. Same thing in object oriented technology, it is known as messaging. Now the third one, polymorphism. Remember, this can be asked in exam, and this is very popular. Polymorphism means many forms. Polymorphism contains two things, method overloading and operator overloading. So let's see both these things one by one. Method overloading. Assume that we have written a function named max that finds maximum of two numbers. So we can input two numbers and it will find out which is the bigger number. It takes two integers as parameters and returns maximum as integer value. So we can create such function named max. Remember, structural programming will not allow to create another function with the same name as max. So in a single program, if you create a function with max name, then you cannot create another function with the same name in structural programming language. Whereas an object-oriented programming allows to create several functions with the same name. But remember, all the functions must have different signature. This is called method or function overloading. Signature. It means all these max functions that we have created must have different parameters or different return types. So let's see. So max int x int y and max int x int y int z are functions with different signatures, because in first one there are two parameters, in second max function there are three parameters. So both the methods contain different signatures, different signs, and can be created in object-oriented programming language. So signature means either number of parameters or their data types or return type must be different. If any one thing is different, then both the functions will be considered as different functions, and Java language or any such object-oriented programming language will allow. So this is method overloading. Another is operator overloading. Operator overloading. Object-oriented programming also allows writing expression using operators on objects. For example, we can use expression date1 minus date2, where both operands date1 and date2 are objects of class date. Remember, date1 and date2, these are known as operands of any date class. So here it will not perform subtraction. Remember, here the operation minus is performed in a way different than performing subtraction on two numbers like n1 minus n2. So suppose n1 minus n2 are numbers, then it will perform subtraction. But if date1 and date2 are there, which are the objects of date class, then it will find out the difference, number of days between these two dates. So that is known as operator overloading. This type of polymorphism is achieved through operator overloading. Thus, polymorphism is achieved using two types of overloading: function overloading and operator overloading. In short, the capability of using same names to mean different things in different context is called overloading. So in this lecture we will keep up to this. Thank you.